This meeting is called to order. Franklin, what's the first order of business?
The first thing we need to discuss is what to do about more.
More?
Well, I thought I would have more wine, more mutton, maybe a little more...
Thomas More!
Ah, of course. That backstabbing turncoat. He used to be on my side. My most trusted counselor. He wrote wonderfully vitriolic dissertations against enemies of the crown, so that I wouldn't have to sully myself by stooping to their level. He supported me. He defended me. Now look what's happened.
What's happened?
Well, you know my wife, Catherine. Yeah. I just want to get a divorce from her so that I can marry someone who will give me a male heir. So I asked him to write a letter to Pope Clement VII and ask him to give me an annulment. He wouldn't do it.
I remember that. Something about divorce being wrong, man and woman becoming one in the eyes of God. I never know what he's talking about.
Yeah, well, I'll show him. I'm making my own church, the Church of England. I'll be the head of it, and I'll decide if I can have a divorce or not.
Oh, so your new church will allow divorce then?
Of course not. I can have a divorce this one time, maybe twice. After that, no one can have a divorce anymore.
You can do that?
I'm Henry VIII. I am.
So then, if you're getting a divorce anyway, what's the problem?
Because Thomas More won't stop publicly denouncing me. No temporal man may be the head of spirituality. He says the church is based on God and Christ Jesus and not on a king and his whims. Can you believe that?
So he's making you look bad.
Yes. So what can we do to shut him up?
An oath.
Oh?
Yeah, an oath. An oath of loyalty. We force him, as your counselor and subject, to take an oath, declaring you to be the head of the church, sovereign over England, sovereign over the church.
You know, that's good. And then once he takes the oath, if he says anything against you, he's the one who looks bad and not you.
Perfect. Start drafting the oath immediately. Meeting adjourned.
Your Majesty, I regret to inform you that I am unable to continue to fulfill my duties as your counselor. My health is declining and I have been suffering from sharp chest pains. I must therefore resign my position effectively immediately. Your humble subject, Sir Thomas More.
Resignation? He would rather forfeit his status, his position, all that he has, just rather than take an oath acknowledging my sovereignty?
He is a man of principle.
Don't you just hate guys like that?
You know, you don't have to accept it.
No. He's always sent me 2 letters of resignation. The first one was right after he refused to take the oath. And yes, I rejected it. But now this one, ill health? How would it look if I denied a man in ill health his right to retire?
But if it doesn't work for you anymore, then he'll have even more freedom to speak out against you.
True. Only there was some way that we could trap him, push his condemnations over the threshold of becoming treason. Then we could have him arrested.
I've got it! Your new wife, Anne.
What about my new wife, Anne?
Well, you're going to have a coronation for her soon as the Queen of England, right?
Yes.
Well, since More has been very clear that your divorce and subsequent remarriage are sinful in the eyes of God, he certainly won't show up to the coronation. But if you invite him and he refuses to show, his failure to acknowledge the new queen could be construed as an act of treason.
Let him hang himself with his own righteous indignation. It's poetic. I like it.
You know, I'm not so sure I feel right about this.
About what?
How would your subjects react if they knew that you were in a conspiracy to plot the demise of one of your detractors?
Horace, I'm surprised at you. This isn't a conspiracy. I'm the head of the church now. It's a council meeting.
Oh.
Your Majesty, I will be unable to attend the coronation of Anne Boleyn. However, I offer my best wishes for your new wife. May your marriage be a righteous and godly one. In all things, I know that Queen Anne is a godly woman, and I wish her a long and prosperous life, walking humbly with
still didn't come. Does that count?
No, that darn letter has him covered. See, he's smart. He acknowledges my marriage and her queenship as politely as possible without actually giving it his approval or his blessing. His refusal to attend the coronation is a royal insult, to be sure. It's not technically treason.
Well, then what are we going to do? He's too smart to actually let us trap him into doing something actually illegal.
We'll just have to lie about it then.
What's that, Mr. I don't like being part of a conspiracy?
I like having a job.
Henry, you wouldn't actually fire us for not taking care of this Thomas More business, would you?
No, of course not. I'd just have you beheaded.
Lying it is. What would it be? Bribery?
No one would believe that. How about Elizabeth Barton, the nun?
What about her?
Well, her we were able to get on treason charges when she spoke out against annulment. We say that Moore conspired with her.
No good. There's a letter he wrote telling her to stay out of it. It's public knowledge.
Well, how about the oath again?
Didn't work last time. What would work now?
Because it wouldn't be an oath taken as a personal employee of the king. Now it would be an oath taken as a loyal subject. If he doesn't take the oath, that means he's not a loyal subject. And if he's not a loyal subject to the king...
then that would be treason! Brilliant!
We'll get to work on this immediately. If all goes well, he'll be arrested by the end of the week.
He that tells others to do good, but sets an evil example himself, is like a foolish weaver, who weaves a cloth with one hand and takes it apart with the other.
Where is that coming from?
So, Thomas More has been arrested?
Yes, sir.
He's locked away in the Tower of London as we speak.
And what is he doing while he's there?
He's writing devotionals. A dialogue of comfort against tribulation.
And people are reading it, too. Even in prison, his influence is too great to be endured.
Even Thomas Cromwell, your chief ministers, begged him to take the oath, acknowledge you as sovereign head of the King of the Church of England. But he refuses to do so.
Well, prison won't do it. There's really only one way we can silence him.
What is the usual punishment for traitors to the crown?
To be hung, drawn, and quartered. Not necessarily in that order.
Ugh, that sounds messy. I don't need to go through all of that. I'm in a generous mood. Let's not make him go through that.
No.
Let's just have him beheaded.
Ew.
I do not care very much what men say of me, provided that God approves of me, even as I go to my death. I am the king's good servant, but I am God's first.